Hello, Margaret.
Hello, nice to see you.
Yeah, it's fantastic to meet you. You've got a phenomenal reputation for mediumship in the UK, so I'm really honoured to meet you today. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm really intrigued as to how you got into mediumship in the first place.
Right. Well, when I was young, I had no knowledge at all. And my knowledge came when I died in my early 30s. I died with open heart surgery. Both my valves in my heart are stainless steel.
Really?
So I tick. Okay? But that's nothing to worry about.
So you're like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz?
Definitely. Well, what happened was, during the operation, I left my body. And I remember looking back at my body and thinking, oh, what a mess. Then I went straight into a tunnel. It was the most wonderful thing that I can ever say has happened to me.
Were you not scared?
No. I didn't think I had time to be scared. But I went into this and it was all pretty lights, like a child's kaleidoscope. You know, they used to shake them.
Yeah.
And what happened then was I was going at terrific speed and I suddenly saw a bright white light. And I came to an abrupt stop. I stepped into the light and I saw an old lady and she was holding the arm of a young boy. And I can remember looking at the old lady and thinking, blimey, that's my gran. But it was my gran before she was riddled with cancer. She was beautiful again. And then I remember thinking to myself, well, who's the young boy? And he said, hello, Mom, I'm Jonathan. Jonathan was our son that died at birth. He died with a broken back.
And how old was he when you went?
Full-term baby, but died in delivery.
But when you saw him again in the afterlife, how old was he there?
I was 13.
So, are you saying that when you go into the afterlife, you can become any age?
Yes, definitely. And, you know, sometimes the spirit people will present themselves as much younger than they are, or again, much older. But there's nothing to fear. And I can remember looking at him and he said, go back, Mum, go back and look after my brothers.
Because by that time you'd had other children?
Yes, I've got 3 other sons.
So you've had 4 boys altogether?
Yes. And my granny just said, you go back, my girl, you don't belong here. We're not ready for you, go back. And I thought, well, that's nice. Anyway, I straight away found myself back in my body and I went in with a bump.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Then it progressed and then I left my body again.
Was this during the same operation?
Yes, and I went into a tunnel. Again, lights, beautiful, and a white light at the very end. And the amazing thing was that at the end of this tunnel, it was so quick, yet I wasn't frightened. And that's unusual for me because I was a meek mouse in those days.
But so how do you know this? Was this not just a dream if you were unconscious?
No, because I had, I said we'd lost our son, as I say, and I had never named him because he was classed as stillborn. And in those days you didn't name a child. And I named him in my heart, and my husband. He gave him a name and I gave him a name. The name that he told me was not the name I had given him, but it was the name my husband had given him. And he told me his name, Jonathan. So when I got back home, I looked into the records of births and all the rest of it up in the attic, as you might say, and there it was, baby Jonathan Hurdman, stillborn.
Gosh.
Which was quite something. I didn't know what name my husband had put on the death certificate. I never wanted to know.
No.
I said I wanted to cut it out of my life completely.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I went the next time into the tunnel, I saw the man I work with. And his name is Abe. And he's...
What, he was a colleague of work?
No, my spirit guide.
So you have a spirit guide?
Yes, and he works with me all the time.
Is that like a guardian angel or is that different?
No, it is a man, he is a man that has been sent or chose to look after me and to guide me in what I do.
And do we all have spirit guides?
We do, yes. We all have helpers. There's always somebody assigned to you. And when people speak of angels being their guides, angels have never touched the earth plane in reality. They are of a much higher degree with God. Usually a guide has lived on the earth plane.
So your guide Abe has lived, has he?
Yes.
When about?
Many years ago, in the time of, I would say, Jesus Christ.
Right,
Okay.
so about 2,000 years ago.
Yes. And what happened then was he just said, go back, go back. If you come any closer, you cannot go back. When the time is right, and only then I will come for you. Back into my body I went. The third time was in intensive care.
So you died 3 times?
Yes. I do make a hog of it when I do things. And what happened then was they'd called my husband in to say goodbye. And I really thought I was talking to him. I honestly did. But of course I wasn't, because there were tubes everywhere. And he told me things, and I remembered what he told me, right? And they said, say your goodbyes. She's going. She's going. And my first thoughts were, well, where am I going? Where am I going? And then again I looked back at my husband and I thought, blimey, of all the shirts I've ironed, he wears the tattiest shirt in the wardrobe. Typical woman, I suppose. But then he rushed off to see me, so that was it. I can forgive him that bit. But the thing was that they said, she's going, and believe you me, in a split second I was back in the light. No tunnel, pure light.
So you've got the hang of it by that
Yeah,
stage. Yeah,
I'd learnt the way by then. And the light was, so comforting, so loving. There was no fear. Again, I saw the man I work with, and he said, but my beloved daughter, go back into this world and talk of spirit, for our plan is for you to work for spirit. And I must confess at that time I didn't know whether it was whiskey, brandy or rum. I like them all.
You thought you had a job in the
Ooh,
pub
yeah.
after when you got back.
Wow. Anyway, I came round actually about 3 weeks later.
So you were in a coma?
Yes. They say, you must have been brain dead. But if that's the case, why did I remember everything clearly? Why did I remember what I'd seen? And why was I so convinced of what it was? Because when I woke up, I could see spirit people moving around. They were talking to me. I really did think I'd lost my marbles. And it's been like that ever since.
Because we're talking, what year now are we talking?
They would just say hello and we're here. And
so what year was this around?
when I would say well, I have to put it this way, maths are terrible. It was about 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's about 1970
Yeah.
or something like that.
So that's when it all started.
So this type of thing wasn't really talked about in those days, was it?
Perhaps 40 years previous they might have burnt me at the stake, you never know. But I definitely could see spirit in many forms. Even animals you could see. And that's quite something.
Mm.
And sometimes you feel, I don't want it. But once they have given you that, you've got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved away from where we lived because the air wasn't suiting me. We moved down to the seaside where we live now, and I started to develop. And this is what I've been doing ever since. Never ceases to amaze me how spirit know everything.
Mm.
And how keen they are to tell people they're all right.
Mm.
Because, they obviously have no problems. They have no pain. It's us on earth that worry and worry about them because we cannot hold them or see them. So I say to you, if you have someone in spirit that you wish to talk to or you wish to communicate with, talk to them. Just tell them you love them, because sound is something unique.
Thank you very much, Margaret. That was
Thank you for your
beautiful.
time.